seconds. Roll call, please. Up to you. Your announcer, the Beltway. I'm John Fredericks, and I am your blowtorch of free speech in America. Great to be here in Georgia on our bus tour. Our stop right here at the Cobb County Republican headquarters. Things are rocking. The turnout wherever we go is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And we're starting in the Cobb County. We got 150 people. We got a big turnout here. So we're just rolling. I think I'm over responsive. Also, I got to tell you what, you never know what's going to happen. So let me just say this right now, with all the shortages that we've got, with inflation raging, you don't know what's going to happen. We're going to go into a recession. Best thing to do to take care of your family is do what I did. Be sure you have an ample supply of food. It sounds like it's a pretty simple thing, right? Buy food, just go to the store, get canned goods or frozen goods. You have no idea what's going to happen. That's why for my family, I bought a 6-month supply. I went to my major supply, and right now I'm getting 3-month supply of food for every family member. You're going to get $150 off for a 3-month supply, plus you're going to get free shipping. All you have to do is go to preparewithgodzilla.com, preparewithgodzilla.com to save $150 per order, 3 months per person, plus free shipping on 3 months food. It's so easy. Preparewithgodzilla.com, you're good to go. Joining me now is Admiral Kubic, the national spokesperson now of VFAF. That's an acronym for Veterans. You got it, gentlemen. Veterans for America First, and he's with us now. Admiral, thanks for being with us. I want to start with the Ukrainian situation. This has been turning in now. We're in a recession. On Thursday afternoon, on Thursday AM last week, we get a disastrous economic GDP report coming out. The economy, which was supposed to grow at about 1 to 1.2%, contracted at 1.5%, nearly a 3-point GDP swing negative. So the economy is contracting, inflation is raging, gas prices out of control, the borders being flooded by illegals, you can't buy a house, right? Everything is a disaster. And Joe Biden goes to the people on Thursday afternoon, doesn't mention that, and asks for another $33 billion for aid to Ukraine. Then this weekend, Nancy Pelosi and her contingent goes there. They do photos with their fanboy Zelensky. They're now saying, well, maybe it's $50 billion. That's what came out today. Maybe it's not $33 billion. Maybe it's really $50 billion. I mean, where's this at?
Well, I think we know where it started. We don't know where it ends at this point. And we have a situation in Ukraine that has been going on for thousands of years, fighting over where is the war. Recently, the Crimea War, all of that. And in every case, they're going to shift back and forth. So we have a group of people there who, number one, very courageous, and number two, maybe fighting a long-term war. Possibly they can win it. But in the meantime, my question is, where is the peacemaker? People who have been to war know at some point in time you can get yourself into a stalemate. You may be there now. By continuing to just fund it and send arms in, you may be participating in unnecessary trouble. We can talk about this being the worst war in Europe as well. I was in the Balkans during the Bosnia War and the Soviet and Kosovo. Let me tell you, that was pretty ferocious and long-lasting. But eventually, they wore themselves out. Peacemakers showed up, we signed the paper, peace accords, and we did a simple thing like redrawing the map. And those countries, there are people who just don't like each other. They want to live with people that they like. May not be our values, but at some point in time, we need to look historically at the map of Ukraine, the people that have come and gone. At one time, Lviv was the capital of Ukraine, and the territory to the west of the Dnieper River was in Ukraine. We know that the Russians, back to Peter the Great, basically felt that you needed a warm water port in Sevastopol. They went and took it during the Biden administration, the Obama administration, and they need a land corridor. Somewhere in there is a compromise where that territory that's inhabited both by Russian Russians and Ukrainians can be put into a neutral zone, allowing access, allowing people to migrate across the border for a given period of time, and at some point have a plebiscite to see if the map should be withdrawn. But we know in Bosnia, once we redo the map, we've had peace for 25 years. And so I think that right now, we have people that are trying to do things. Secretary of State went there, Secretary of Defense, Speaker, of the House, but none of them have gone there as peacemakers. They've gone there almost as warmongers.
Well, I mean, that's their set. Look, I mean, the only way that the Biden regime and the Democrats keep any semblance of power is by basically having some kind of a war, that they can say, hey, they're standing up to Ukraine and run around with Ukrainian flags. But you're right. We get the Secretary of State go there, we get the Secretary of Defense go there. But it's all about giving them more weapons, giving them more money. Right now they're asking for, we got Biden asking for another $33 billion. This is just an astronomical sum.
When President Trump came in, he realized that the ammo lockers were bare. We didn't have enough ammunition, and he basically was able to restock. Now I'm told that up to a third of our Stinger missiles, are gone. We can't replenish them because of the supply lines, the production lines, and so we're giving away our own arms and leaving ourselves really without that when we have threats in the Pacific, we have other threats which we may need. So it's not a question of just arming them. We're basically giving our defense over to them, and it doesn't appear to be any easy way out. There was an attempt by Turkey to mediate it. I thought maybe that would be successful, but it hasn't worked. We need to talk both of those countries off the ledge. I don't know who that person will be, but they haven't gone over there yet.
Well, how are you going to mediate something when Zelensky is saying, hey, I'm not going to give anything up, I'm not going to give any territory up? You've got the media lying to you, and the New York Times are lying to you, and saying that the Ukrainians are winning. They're not winning. Okay, you might say that it's a stalemate or they fought valiantly, but if you look at the cities, they're not winning. They're being pummeled into oblivion. So this war, and eventually they run out of resources. But, I mean, how do you get any kind of a peace when you've got your Western ally, the United States, every day it's another 2 billion, 3 billion, 30 billion, 50 billion. We keep giving them arms, giving them money, right? By the way, where's France? Nowhere. Germany? Nowhere. Nobody else can give them anything but us. They're still buying the gas.
Well, Trump said it all when you do it 3 words, peace through strength. And he flipped the equation. He wasn't following the lead that we see now where diplomats get involved, then they try to immediately back it up with the military, and then they expect our economy to pay for it. Trump flipped it. He said we're going to basically compete economically. And we're going to make sure that our diplomats push forward on that economic competition. And we're going to have a military that's so strong that nobody wants to fight with us. And if they do take us on, then no, we'll fight to win. So right now we have a situation where we haven't used our economic power. We gave away the pipeline, all of these sorts of things, and we haven't really pressed them. But at some point in time, they're going to wear each other out. Those who have served, and I know a lot of veterans out there have in combat theaters, those who are on the march to Baghdad with us, who are in combat for 30 days, you know how tiring it can be, how you can wear yourself out. I suspect they're at that point, and there's just got to be an avenue. Maybe a little bit of light would come that we're able to evacuate some people from Mariupol, but evacuating civilians from a combat zone is pursuant to the law of war. We need to try to build upon that. We also need to give Putin an off-ramp as well as Zelensky. And somehow, in Bosnia, we also brought them together and they signed the Dayton Peace Accords. After the Crimea War in 1856, they signed the Paris Peace Accord, which, by the way, gave Russia the Crimea after Russia had lost 500,000 people. We don't need to go that far. We need to find a peacemaker. I don't know that it's in this administration.
Well, so Erdogan, the president of Turkey, attempted it. And it made sense on paper because Erdogan's a very capable politician. We saw that with the murder of the journalist that leaked the information out. So he's a very capable guy, and he's a member of NATO. And so on paper, it looked like, okay,
this is the guy that's going to solve this. What do I know?
Yeah, and it's hard to say because I thought it had promise as well, but if you then look back in history, in the Crimean War with the Ottoman Empire against the Russians, the British and the French came in not because they wanted to fight the Russians, they just didn't want the Ottoman to control the Black Sea.
Right.
And so I don't know how much support he was getting from the European community in his effort. And he isn't in the strongest position to be able to force something because Turkey is heavily aligned economically also with Russia. Someone needs to look at this and say, way back when, why did the European banking cartel force Ukraine to choose between economic ties to Europe versus Russia, the whole issue of the movement of gas? Because they didn't need to. They could have followed the Finland model. They could have been economically aligned with both groups and militarily neutral. And I think there's still a possibility there that we don't need to expand NATO. It's big enough right now. Because we certainly don't want to bring Finland and Sweden in and make it worse. But it's not the UN, it's not NATO, and it's certainly not the Biden administration. I don't know who's going to step forward, but somebody has to. There's going to be hundreds of thousands of casualties.
It's just, there's no way to decide as long as we keep getting the money, and that, pretty soon the lobbyists are going to start running around Congress, the warmongers and the neocons asking for more, now $33 billion on.
And by the way, you said as a Trump, but they'll embed all of their other everything else that'll embed it.
Everything that's part of that, said we have to pass it immediately to Ukrainians are dying, so that's kind of the way they do it. I only got a half a minute, but you mentioned Finland going into the NATO. You don't have time to respond, but I'll just say this. Erdogan has already said he'll vote no. So that just kind of ends that. I mean, the Erdogan has got a lot of power here. That's just, I'm disappointed he couldn't get any kind of negotiating done. We're on time. Admiral Kubic, national spokesperson, Veterans for America First. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, John. It's been an honor.
And we'll be right back.